Hey guys, this is Max again at Charlie's Flybox, and today we are down on the river to do a little fishing. It is around 6 o'clock now on May 2nd. Got off the shop a little early and decided to come out here and throw some woolly buggers around and kind of just talk to you guys about how to fish these Front Range creeks and what's been going on here recently for me and for the reports that we've been getting around the shop. I would say this stuff's applicable. Everything that we go over today is going to be applicable on all of our Front Range creeks. So Bear Creek to the south, Clear Creek outside of Golden. Boulder, South Boulder Creek up El Dorado Canyon around Walker Ranch, and Boulder Creek outside of Boulder. All of these places are really awesome, creek fisheries, dry fly fisheries, dry dropper fisheries, woolly bugger fisheries. Today we're mostly going to focus on the woolly bugger thing just because that's what's been working. But there's a ton of stuff that works down here. One of my favorite things about the creeks is the fact that in a lot of situations, you can kind of fish them how you want to fish them. If you want to get them on dries, there's usually opportunities to do that. Dry dropper is always incredibly efficient on all of these places, and the streamer bite is something that's very underrated. I said this in an Instagram video recently, but if you guys are streamer curious at all, this is the time and the place to come learn how to do it. You get so many shots. Fish are so forgiving on this stuff this time of year around these creeks. So, go over the gear that we're using a little bit. This is a 8.64 weight G Loomis IMX Pro. This is probably my favorite all-around trout rod in Colorado, period. But it's the rod that I reach for the most in my own personal quiver, but especially for this stuff, small buggers on creeks like this or meadow streams, I am hard-pressed to think of a rod that does that better. I've got a 4.5 Ross Animus on there, and I'm throwing an SA, I believe this is a Trout Standard, because I do a lot of dry fly fishing on this rod. Trout Standard amplitude textured, and I'm throwing a size 8 crystal bugger in olive, and I believe this is a 7.5 foot 3X or 4X leader. I would say probably 4X if I had to guess. I don't remember though, for being honest. And one of my favorite things, the last thing that I'll say in terms of gear, one of my favorite things about coming down and fishing these creeks is you don't need a lot of gear. If you see me right now, I'm just in a pair of Grundens, got the boots on. Not really planning on getting in past my ankles today. I got a pair of wool socks on underneath just in case, but I got a fly box in my pocket that's got a couple things in case I want to change, which I really doubt I'm going to need to. And then I've got a couple spools of tippet as well. Usually, for evening outings like this, I just kind of leave the packs in the car, throw a couple things in a compartment box. It's one of the reasons why I love those Myron boxes that we carry, is they're so easy to load up for, a given night of fishing and not be married to a larger sort of master box that you have. So, I love the simplicity of this stuff. We can get off work, in Denver and come up here and bop around for the evening. So, like I said, we're going to kind of roll around, hit a couple different spots, which is another key for this area, making sure that, we don't need to work this water for 45 minutes to an hour with a woolly bugger. You can cover your spots in 10, 20 minutes, get back in your car and go somewhere else, which allows you to see a lot of water, allows you to enjoy the beauty that we have here in these canyons. You can see I've got a bunch of midges in a cloud above me. We got caddis fluttering around on the rocks. It all feels pretty alive in here. And yeah, we're going to see if we can't walk around and catch a few on the bugger and maybe teach you guys a few things along the way. So without further ado, here we go. Make it happen. So guys, I'm just going to do a quick little demonstration here on how I would work up a run here on Clear Creek. So I got a little woolly bugger. I would do super similar things with a dry fly or a dry dropper, but this is a little 8.64 weight G Loomis IMX Pro. This is probably my favorite rod to throw buggers around on, and let's see if we can catch one. So one thing I always want to do as I'm working these is I want to work from the inside out. So I don't know if you can kind of see through me here, but I'm really trying to just work these inside seams where I see slacker water, because I know that fish are going to be generally up in this slower stuff if they want to be feeding, and especially with the woolly bugger, it just allows them to be opportunistic. So the other thing too is if I catch a fish out deep and then I bring it through the shallow, it's going to spook all the fish shallow. So I always want to be catching from the inside out. So, and as you guys can tell, I'm working pretty efficiently. Not really spending too much time on one place. If I get a cast that I want through a good area, I'm just going to assume that a fish has seen it if they've seen it. or they've had an opportunity to eat it. Oop, just got flashed right there. Just got flashed really good in that shallow water. And there is a fish. Do you guys notice that fish came out right behind a rock? Now I got kind of a tricky little deal. Come in here. This is actually a pretty nice Clear Creek fish. There he is. Put him back. And kind of in the same shot, let's walk up and just look at where that fish was real quick. So I casted from here, and if you stay there, Jaron, and maybe just zoom in on me. I got that fish to eat up in here. So I don't know if you can see through this bush here, but there's a smaller channel coming in on the side here, not the main channel. And that cast that got that fish was more up in here. And you find that a lot with fish that are up shallow. These secondary currents that are coming in, generally I find are the most productive both for the woolly bugger stuff and for the dry fly stuff. So perfect, there we go. Good little tip right there. All right, guys, so we just got done releasing that first fish that we caught, and we're just going to keep working up this. I'm just going to keep talking through my thought process, and Jaron's going to keep filming. One thing that might be good for you is maybe getting up a little higher, you know what I mean? Because maybe we could see down a little better. Hopefully Jaron doesn't break an ankle trying to keep up with me. So this is the perfect example of an area where I expect to get a fish out of. I really like this slow stuff on the inside, especially this area kind of in the back where it's kind of sort of totally stagnant. And then I'm looking at all the rocks up here as potential ambush points. And the way that I'm going to think about it is I want to get in both current seams on either side of each rock and then directly behind it. I don't really need more than one cast at any of that stuff, but I'm going to give it the option. And before I barge up in here, I'm going to do a really good job of picking apart this tail out. Again, it doesn't have to be a bunch of casts, but I'm just going to be really diligent. I haven't stepped up there. I haven't casted a shadow. I haven't put any vibration on the water yet. So let's just see what we got. So again, just trying to work efficiently, just a couple casts, hitting every part of the run. I'm going to give this slack water a little extra, because again, that's just super fishy water right there. And then once I'm past it, I'm just going to work up, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to try to hit all my spots pretty efficiently. As you guys can see, I'm doing most of the movement of the fly is coming from strips right now. And that's just because, ooh, I just got hit right there. Will he eat it again? Damn. So same thing. The far inside seam up here, as we walk up, you guys will see it, is where that fish ate. So it seems like right now they're pushed up pretty shallow, which is typical of runoff situations. Not saying that this creek is running off super hard right now. We've got probably, I don't know, 1.5 feet, 2 feet of visibility. It is May 2nd, I believe. And yeah, I've yet to see like a super chocolatey stain down here. So again, just working pretty fast. I'm seeing a cluster of midges right there. And something I'm always trying to do too while I'm working these streamers is pick them up visually. There's one. So again, right behind that rock, right at the head of the run. Get him here. Ooh. Silvery little fish. Come on, buddy. There he is. And I don't think I mentioned this yet, but we are using a size 8 olive crystal bugger to do this. And like I said, I'm going to do the same thing where you stay there and I'll just go up and kind of point out where that fish was caught. So I was casting from about here, and that fish was caught directly behind this rock. And if you guys can see, I don't know if you can see on the zoom in, there's a little bit of foam right here behind that rock. So you've got a current seam coming in here, you've got a current seam on the outside, and then you've got a nice little eddy in here. That fish was sitting right there, right up on the rock, ate it the second that it touched the water. And a lot of times that's, that's what's going to happen. As the water rises, these fish are going to get pushed up into these softer areas and look for that kind of relief. And, the woolly bugger is a great way to just elicit a reaction strike. So there we go. We're on the board. We're making it happen. All right, guys, so we are here now at a new spot. And like I said before, one of my favorite things about fishing Clear Creek is the fact, and again, all the Front Range creeks, is the fact that you can move around. And over the course of an evening, like I said, we're only here, from 5:30 on tonight. Over the course of an evening, you can cover a lot of different spots and see a lot of different water because there's so many different pull-offs, so many different types of places that you can fish. We're about to fish much more kind of like fast canyon-y stuff, which is really what I like here on Clear Creek. If you look down here, this is the water that I really look for the streamer thing. You've got a ton of different broken rock. You've got lots of different current seams. Importantly, you have a lot of slack water in here for fish to kind of take a break in, and it just provides lots of ambush points. It's not to say that there's not fish all through the river. It's not to say that you can't catch fish out in the main current during the nymph thing, or up under willows doing the hopper thing. But this particular type of stuff, I think, really is perfect for the bugger thing. Ambush points are absolutely key. Not to say that, not to say they won't eat it in tons of different situations, but this is the type of water that I look for. Yeah, so as we walk down, other things that have been working for me here over the past couple days, besides just the woolly bugger thing, like I said, at the other spot, we've been seeing caddis. I'm actually looking at one right now, fluttering. There's always midges, always baetis around in these systems this time of year. There have been hoppers, mostly lower in the canyon. I haven't seen a ton of hoppers up high yet, but they are around, and we have had reports of people catching fish on the hoppers of hopper dropper rigs. But for me personally, if I'm not doing the bugger thing, my top flies have been size 16 Quasimodo pheasant tails on a dry dropper rig and size 18 poison tongues on a dry dropper rig. I don't think that, I honestly don't think the dropper stuff matters all that much in here. There's a lot of different bugs in this system at this point. That's the nice thing about fishing freestones like this. It's much more important that we're fishing the right water and we're getting to depth. So down here, this is another example of absolutely great streamer water. And if you come down here just a little bit, Jaron, something that I really like about this is up here in this laydown. You've got foam along this laydown. It's extra structure. There's a lot of different, there's kind of a transition up onto a rock shelf. So it's just a good place for a fish to patrol and be looking for all different types of food. Usually when fish are going to be out in a current seam, they're going to be subjected to whatever bugs are currently coming off. When I say in a current seam, I mean like mid-column, kind of, in faster stuff. When they're up in this slower stuff, shallower stuff, they're just, I always find they're much more opportunistic, which plays for the streamer thing. So we'll walk down a little bit farther, and yeah, keep going. So again, guys, we're just being opportunistic here. We were walking back to the car, and we saw this good stuff right here. So, the nice thing, again, about the bugger is that you get to fish it really quickly. So you can stop at little spots like this, work them really efficiently to spend 3 or 4 minutes, maybe catch a fish or two, and then keep going. I think I've said this before in this video, but it is a ratio game. You never know where they're going to come out of. So throw it in as many places as you can. All right. I'll work that stuff up there too. Why not? Here we go. There he is. Ooh, a rainbow. Nice rainbow. And, pretty indicative of rainbow territory. Get up into the faster stuff, that faster, deeper stuff. Oh, stop it. I always find rainbows are so much harder to grab a hold of than the browns are. There he is, nice rainbow. Just dropped him into the shallows, and there he goes. So again, I mean, guys, that's a perfect example of why it's so important to hit all the water. When I walked down here, I told Jaron all I was going to do is fish this stuff and come back up, but it takes no time to work into, I mean, this is pretty pushy looking water. That fish came out of this right here, just that one little small spot. And you know, this is why I love the bugger so much, is it just allows you to work water like this so efficiently, where very rarely would I take an indicator rig and adjust it to fish such a small spot like this. You know, it's just an afterthought, but with the bugger, you can just get right in there, twitch it around 2 or 3 times, see if anything eats it. And yeah, I'm kind of seeing another spot right up here that I didn't see before. I'm gonna go check that out as well. Um, so guys, we've been fishing for probably an hour now. We've caught, I think, 5, I want to say, and we're just gonna go over a little bit of bug stuff. So this is a perfect sort of area to flip some rocks and try to find some bugs, and kind of organically, I'm just gonna walk around and try to see what I see. I'll give you guys a little bug report down here on Clear Creek. So we're just gonna start flipping. I think I said before in a couple of the spots, we've seen caddis, we've seen midges in abundance all around, and I've seen some hoppers around here recently. I'm going to try to get out a little farther. Alrighty, so first bug we got right here. This is going to be a Baetis nymph. You know, it's springtime. Baetis are in pretty much every single one of our river systems right now. I would say that that's 18, 20, something like that. Pretty narrow dude, dark gray, barely a little tinge of olive on him, black wing case, standard Baetis stuff. I think a Juju Baetis would do pretty good trying to imitate something like that. Try to pick up a big boy. So, couple more Baetis nymphs. That guy's actually getting ready to hatch. His wing case is pretty swollen. There was another one skittering around. There's one that's not nearly as swollen. That guy's not super ready to hatch yet. So a decent amount of Baetis moving, it looks like. Or just moving is a strong word, around. Alrighty. Keep looking. Yep. More Baetis. That's probably an 18. Got a little midge right there. I don't even know if you'll be able to see that. Looks like a midge. Might be a real... I can't even tell what that is, honestly. So small. I mean, it was small like a midge, but it was crawling and moving like a Baetis. I don't know. See little caddis structures on some of this stuff, but not a lot of bugs, at least in this riffle. All right, hey guys, we are just wrapping up our day here on Clear Creek. Obviously, you followed along up to this point. We're down here kind of near Tunnel 1. Just to give a quick recap of the day, we left the shop at 5 o'clock, so this was truly just a little afternoon jaunt, and it's about 8 o'clock right now. We never went up past Tunnel 2. We fished a lot of the lower stuff. The most productive stuff by far was faster, like soft pockets in faster water, as you guys can see. I'm sure you just saw that little dry fly attempt that we did, and then fishing the bugger around in that slower stuff. We got a lot of flashes and a lot of short strikes, but not a lot of really committed eats in that slower stuff. But in the fast stuff, where they gotta kind of make a decision quick, I think they're just much more apt to eat it. And as runoff comes up and water gets stained, that's the stuff that you want to look for anyways. So, you know, all of this stuff that we did down here is super applicable on all of our front range creeks, and that was really the point of the video today, was not to, you know, give you a specific playbook for Clear Creek, although this is a pretty dang good playbook for Clear Creek. But really just kind of open up some ideas for fishing Bear, Clear, South Boulder, and even some of the higher up stuff. These woolly buggers are such a fun way to go about doing it. You guys saw it allows you to work water really efficiently. I think we hit 3 or 4 spots in the 3 hours that we were here. So, you know, including getting up and down and dicking around at the car, probably 30 minutes per spot, I would say. I think we walked with 6 to 8 fish, I want to imagine, with, I mean, tons of flashes, short strikes, which I said earlier, I don't know if it made it in the video or not. Like, to me, that's a lot of the fun about coming down here. We've been working all day. We got off, you come down, bring 6 or 8 fish to hand, but, get tugs from another dozen of them and flash maybe another dozen more. It's super action-packed fishing. You're not watching an indicator. It allows you to move around, enjoy the evening, get a little cardio in on this nice trail that continues to be built here in Clear Creek Canyon. So yeah, we just wanted to, we got a couple comments on the Woolly Bugger video on Instagram asking us to do a little instructional on this, and we wanted to just talk about how the Front Range creeks were fishing this time of year. You know, like I reiterate, you know, just to reiterate some of the stuff I said earlier, you know, dry dropper is super effective right now too. I was in here on Tuesday and did really well on a size 16 Quasimodo pheasant tail under a caddis dry. Didn't really have any action on the dry, but I have heard reports around the shop of people getting stuff on, you know, sporadic hopper eats, sporadic caddis eats in here. You know, we did see some bugs. We flipped some rocks. Pretty much only saw Baetis. Like I said, there are caddis around. There are hoppers around. It's not thick yet. It doesn't really feel like the fish are looking up yet, but you know, that's why this Woolly Bugger stuff is so fun. It kind of allows you to fish a lot of the same ways that you would fish dry or dry dropper in here. So yeah, take all of these tips. Be, you know, more than welcome to ask questions in the comments. We'll be in there and ask them, you know, answer them as best as we can. Come into the shop, talk to us. I'm always happy to talk to you guys about all of my experience doing stuff like this. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and we'll see you next time.